It's high time to awake. Bible prophecy with Craig C. White. Hello, everybody. This is Craig C. White with HighTimeToAwake.com. Today's study is titled "One Shall Be Taken and the Other Left: The Mid-Tribulation Invasion of Judea and Jerusalem." In Luke chapter 17, verse 36, Jesus gave a prophecy that one day two men will be standing in a field. Then one man will be taken away and the other man will remain. Luke chapter 17, verse 36. Two men shall be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. This passage might sound like it is describing the rapture, but it isn't. Instead, it is describing the invasion of Judea and Jerusalem by the Antichrist during the tribulation period. First, this prophecy was given to the Jews before the church existed. Jesus gave this prophecy to his disciples. Second, this prophecy was given in the city of Jerusalem. It concerns the nation of Israel, and more specifically, it concerns the city of Jerusalem. Jesus also told us when this event will happen. It will happen on the day when the Son of Man is revealed. The term the Son of Man can refer to the Messiah, but on this day the Antichrist will stand in the temple in Jerusalem, showing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4 says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." The day when the Son of Man is revealed is not a good day. It is the time period when God will allow Israel's enemies to oppress them. God will first use Israel's enemies to judge Israel. Jesus will then judge Israel's enemies at the end of the 7-year-long tribulation period. The second half of the 7-year-long tribulation period is called Jerusalem's Great Tribulation in Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. The man in the field will be taken away at the beginning of Jerusalem's Great Tribulation, on the day that the Antichrist sits in the temple. One man will be taken away while the other man will remain. Jesus gave this prophecy on his way to Jerusalem. Along the way, Jesus met a group of lepers. He healed them and told them to show themselves to the priest at the temple in Jerusalem. Luke chapter 17, verse 11. "And it came to pass, as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go, show yourself unto the priests. And it came to pass, that as they went, they were cleansed." After the lepers showed themselves to the priests, Jesus was confronted by the Pharisees in Jerusalem. The Pharisees were a sect of religious leaders, so Jesus was in Jerusalem when the Pharisees challenged his authority. They asked him, "When would the kingdom of God come?" Luke chapter 17, verse 20. "And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, The kingdom of God cometh not with observation." Jesus answered the Pharisees and went on to tell his disciples what would happen during the days of the Son of Man, that is, the day of God's judgment of Israel and wrath on the earth. Jesus and his disciples and the Pharisees were in Jerusalem at the time that this was said. Luke chapter 17, verse 26. "And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark. And the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all." Many Christians today believe that the day of Noah and the day of Lot refers to an abundance of unbelief and sin on the earth, but that is not what Luke is telling us. There is a day coming that will bring a terrible time of judgment for Israel. Conditions will get the worst in the city of Jerusalem. It is called Jerusalem's Great Tribulation. The Bible tells us that the citizens of Jerusalem will be going about their lives as usual. Then, all of a sudden, something terrible will happen. Jerusalem will be attacked by the Antichrist and his army. Half of the people will be taken captive. One person will be taken and another will remain. Jesus warns the people in Jerusalem and in Judea to not return to their homes. They will be warned by the presence of the Antichrist in the temple. They will be tempted to return to their homes in order to retrieve their personal belongings. Jesus warns them not to go home. Luke chapter 17, verse 30. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. In that day he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. This is the same day that is described in Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take away anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. This is the day that the Antichrist is revealed. This is not referring to the day that Jesus Christ returns. Jesus warns the citizens of Jerusalem and Judea not to go home, because danger awaits them there. If they return to their houses, they will be killed, abused, or taken captive. Is there another passage that the Bible tells us about a day when the homes of Jerusalem will be in jeopardy? A day also when 1 out of 2 people will be taken away? Zechariah tells us that before the day of the Lord, Jerusalem will be attacked, the homes will be robbed, and the women will be raped. 1 out of 2 people will be taken away as slaves. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravaged, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. This invasion of Jerusalem will happen halfway through the 7-year-long tribulation period. It will be on the day that the Antichrist sits in the temple. It marks the beginning of Jerusalem's great tribulation. 3.5 years after this invasion, Jesus will return to rescue Jerusalem. In Daniel chapter 11, verse 44, this future invasion is likened to the invasion of Jerusalem by Antiochus Epiphanes in 167 BC. Antiochus ordered his soldiers to kill people in their homes. Half of the people who survived were taken away as slaves. The future Antichrist will attack Jerusalem in much the same way. Here is an historical account of Antiochus Epiphanes' attack on Jerusalem in 167 BC. 2 Maccabees chapter 5 verse 11. When these happenings were reported to the king, he thought that Judea was in revolt. Raging like a wild animal, he set out from Egypt and took Jerusalem by storm. He ordered his soldiers to cut down without mercy those whom they met, and to slay those who took refuge in their houses. There was a massacre of young and old, a killing of women and children, a slaughter of virgins and infants. In the space of 3 days, 80,000 were lost, 40,000 meeting a violent death, and the same number being sold into slavery. Luke chapter 17, verse 32. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 men in one bed, the one shall be taken and the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left. 2 men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. At the start of the Great Tribulation, the Antichrist will invade Jerusalem, and his army will go from home to home, taking away every other person prisoner. In that way, 1/2 of all Jews found in Jerusalem will be taken away as slaves. The other half will suffer through the Great Tribulation inside of the city. Luke chapter 17, verse 37. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Everywhere there is a Jew in Jerusalem and in Judea, their enemies will find them and take half of them captive. The mid-tribulation invasion of Jerusalem and of Judea is a major theme in the Gospels. It is high time that the church understood that being taken or left is not written about the rapture. Make sure you go to hightimetoawake.com, check out my Bible prophecy commentaries, and also check out my Bible prophecy books on Amazon. This is Craig C. White with hightimetoawake.com, and I'll see you next time.